Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros Jose.
where are we today?
I'm in freezing ass San Francisco. It's so fucking cold.
And I'm in a slightly warmer Chicago. Not much, but just a tiny bit today. Let's just wait until next week.
All right, then I'll be satisfied.
I'm sure you will be satisfied when I'm freezing to death. Thank you, Gabriel. That's what I expect to hear from a
I
Gabriel.
need you to regret leaving me, and I think snow and ice might be the only way that can happen.
But talking now that you actually bring regrets, what did we watch this time?
This was my pick, and I picked it. That's the definition of being my pick. The 2023 Venice Film Festival winner, The Killer, directed by David Fincher.
Yeah, that is like it was in the cinemas, but we watched it on Netflix. So,
starring Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, and a Q-tip. But why did you pick this movie?
Well, we both became aware maybe a month ago that The Killer existed and won, and it was getting good reviews. And we watched what Fassbender? Oh yeah, Gone Girl. Because we had been talking about David Fincher, because this new movie came out, and the timing was just perfect. It was released on Netflix November 10th, and today is just a few days after that.
Yeah, we don't have to get specific, okay? Because when this podcast goes out, probably it's going to be already 2024.
That's what I was like, don't mention dates. What's the point?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, as this was your pick, I guess that I will have to summarize it. There's
I figured out a one-sentence summary for this film if you want.
Please, just bring it, because I think that it can be summarized in one sentence.
It's John Wick for grown-ups.
I thought so many times about John Wick when I was watching this.
Stolen from John Wick.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it's like, okay, it's another wall of hitman and assassins, but it's not so over the top like a comic. It doesn't try to be a comic. It tries to be a tiny bit more grounded. Tiny.
But I'll let you tell what the film is about. But there's a scene where Michael Fassbender is literally breaking open a floor. Yes, it's outside, but for a hidden underground safe that contained the same things that John Wick did access an underground safe. And I was like, anyway.
Okay.
Summarize away, my friend.
But basically this follows do they give no, it's only like The Killer, like the name, like Fassbender, that he's a hitman and he does like jobs for someone that is like the lawyer, that is like his handler, and in this job the movie opens with 15-minute narration while he's in Paris, talking about like how he prepares like mentally and physically for just taking the shot. And like it clearly he has like many years of experience doing this, but he fails. And after failing for the first time, it was like just clearly shaken up by that. And basically the rest of the movie just follows like what are like the consequences of that fail. And as you said, it's pretty similar to John Wick. Even like how other people like react to him when they realize who is he. It's very similar to oh shit, yeah, it's like, this is John Wick. I mean, this is The Killer. So the movie jumps a bit all around the world, like from Paris to the Dominican Republic. Where did they go to? Is that they go to they say that they go to New York, but it's not New York, that is Chicago, and then they go to Chicago.
So his secret home is in the Dominican Republic, so he runs there to hide after the messed up the botched assassination job, where he finds his girlfriend has been brutally attacked in her home.
And I would say that this movie is fairly recent. We don't need to actually give like all of the spoilers for it.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, it's not that there are like many or they are critical. I think that the entertainment or the enjoyment of this movie comes from, do you enjoy monologues by Fassbender? That's the first thing. Mental monologues about that. And if you are okay with a high degree of violence.
Yeah, I would say though it's not gore at all. There is violence, but it felt totally manageable, and that comes from somebody, me, who can't tolerate like Eli Roth for a second.
Yep. Oh, yesterday I almost went to see Eli Roth new movie.
What is it?
Thanksgiving. And something that I have forgotten is like in Greenhouse, they did like a lot of random trailers, like made up trailers. One of them was Machete.
No, you mean Grindhouse. Sorry, I thought you said Greenhouse. Grindhouse, yeah.
Grindhouse, yeah, sorry. And I think that this was one of the movies that they made a trailer for. So it took like 15 years.
Eli Roth directed that trailer.
Yeah, and he directed the movie now.
Just like what did the Mexican? Is that the name of the movie? No, that's the Brad Pitt.
You mean Machete?
Machete, yes.
With Danny Trejo, yeah. I don't remember who directed that. How do you say, like the trailer, and who directed the movie. I don't know if it was the same person. Was it Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, I thought that at least the guy who directed the trailer was Robert Rodriguez. I thought, but I could be mistaken. I haven't revisited.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah, the director of the movie is Robert Rodriguez. Yeah.
A pity that guy started out with such promise.
Robert Rodriguez? Yeah.
Is he Spy Kids or is he Shark Man versus Lava Girl?
Oh, Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. That's when he decided to end his career.
Oh my god!
I'm not waiting for any more Robert Rodriguez films. Like when Noah Baumbach wrote Madagascar 3, and I was like, okay, maybe we're done.
Well, sure. You know, it may not be for you, but it may not be a bad movie.
It was probably about, a pool extension on a home. I get it. It's fine.
Exactly. But yeah, going back to The Killer. Interestingly enough, I was thinking about what other movies we have watched from Fincher for the podcast, and we watched his previous Netflix movie, that it was Mank.
Which was fine, right? I think after I watched it, I thought it was good, and then I just realized it was insignificant.
For me, I remember that it was 3 hours, and it was pretty clear this was like a personal passion project. This one doesn't feel like a passion project. It almost feels like a contractual obligation.
The Killer?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me more.
I'm already giving a bit away. But I had the feeling that this movie is pretty empty. Is that the amount of content? Maybe it's because it looks pretty similar to John Wick, but the amount of stuff that happens is very limited. Those 15 minutes at the beginning piss me off. There is one thing towards like the middle of the movie that I like quite a bit. That is that they don't do over exposition. Albeit they have like a 15-minute dialogue, inner dialogue.
What? They
do that.
Minutes in the very beginning.
No, but there is a point where he's like just connecting the dots about like, oh, who did this? And then he sends like that package, and he doesn't explain like why he does that until you see like how everything connected. It's like, oh, that guy is smart, and he's not explaining it to my face. I like that indirect narrative. I like it. But dude, those voiceovers, they were terrible.
So I'm already answering my question. Could this have been better? I don't know how I feel about the voiceovers. Ultimately, I think that it worked for me, but that first 15 minutes of exposition, I was like, okay, we're getting some good information here, but it doesn't need to go 15 minutes. And I think maybe I would have gotten more from just watching him go through his behavioral patterns and being like, okay, this is a true psychopath who needs to feel like he's in control, and give me some exposition. And then it just didn't stop. I can't say that it reached the level where it bothered. Well, it must have bothered me some, because I always felt like, stop this.
Stop, just out.
And I have a higher tolerance for Michael Fassbender voiceovers.
In monologues.
But even, I was like, okay. just take off your shirt, okay, man? That's all I need you to do.
That's what you were casted for this. Let's just be honest, you know. I felt like the movie thought that it was more important than what it actually was.
See, I really liked this movie. I felt like it was a return to the fun David Fincher, like the fun of the game, where things feel out of control, but really everything is super controlled, but you're just guessing until the last second, and it's literally a game. I felt like this was David Fincher going back to his roots and giving us just a super fun time of guessing what's going to happen next. And I felt like this was a really fun movie to watch.
The thing is, like, in the game, you're invested in the characters. In The Killer, the problem is, like, I was not invested in anyone. Because it's that the character is like, just like a very, I don't know, never like really outlined beyond I'm a hitman. He gives like 10 different names. We only know like a tiny bit of his life, but definitely doesn't look like a full-fledged character.
So I don't know if you noticed this. This is another thing that annoyed me. Each of his fake names is a pretty famous or a somewhat famous character from American television. And after a while, I was like, nobody's going to say anything that his name is George Jefferson? Like, really? Wouldn't you pick inconspicuous names that wouldn't draw attention to you? And I was like, this isn't the fun, like, Easter egg thing the writers thought it was. It just annoyed me.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably that comes like from the book itself. I assume that this is like just based on a book.
Did you ever see a movie called The Limits of Control? I think it's a Jim Jarmusch film from 2009. It's got Gael Garcia Bernal, Tilda Swinton, Bill Murray, John Hurt. The cast is amazing.
Oh, yeah, like with everything with Jim Jarmusch. Yeah. No, I think that
it had a similar vibe. Honestly, if I recall correctly, Isaac de Bencolle plays an assassin, and he takes this train trip trying to get to Bill Murray, and he just meets these enigmatic characters along the way. It felt like that, but more entertaining. The Limits of Control is pretty boring, just like most Jim Jarmusch films. But I don't know. For me, there was a sense of gravitas. There was like this, like you could see the control in every frame that David Fincher exercised. Like, I'm convinced I saw exactly the movie he wanted me to see, and so I assume, I don't know, it feels like there's something important. Like, I didn't feel that way about Gone Girl. Gone Girl could have been directed by anybody. The Killer could not have been directed by anyone.
I hear you, but I don't agree. I actually was like present. I was watching it with my boyfriend, and I was telling him, oh, you know, in this take is pretty cool that he's doing this. Look how the camera is following. Look how exactly millimetric it is about like when Fassbender like shows in this point how the camera follows him, blah blah blah. But I felt like most of the takes were simpler than even in Gone Girl, and I don't think that Gone Girl is the most complex from a cinematography perspective, you know.
But are you saying complex is better?
Yes, for Fincher, I think so. Is that for this one, I felt is like, hey, it's fine. It's still Fincher, you know. It's pretty obvious that it's him, but I don't think that he pushed himself as hard as in Gone Girl or in other movies.
We need to switch from Gone Girl, because I don't feel like Gone Girl, David Fincher tried very hard. He was like, there's a popular book I can turn into a movie. Sure. But I can see what you say. It's not that I disagree completely, but a little bit.
That's fine. We can disagree. It's not the end of the world.
I have another complaint. Oh my gosh, I think I didn't like this movie as much as I thought I did. The opening credits, all they did was put a drop shadow on the words. And it looked like, I was like, is this from Photoshop out of 2007? They were distractingly bad.
Yeah, but it was like, what, like 3 seconds of opening that I'm thinking about like other movies. And I mean, if I think about Fight Club, and Fight Club is like an exception because it was like late 90s, so they went like all out with that sequence at the beginning.
Because they were thinking about the DVD extras.
Definitely. But in this case, I just felt that, I'm going to be like just pressing play and I'm going to be like just grabbing something from the kitchen. And immediately when I turn around, it's like the movie is starting. There is there is no like build up to it or anything.
Yeah, also the film, so I have to say I did watch it twice. Well, I think I watched it Saturday and then again on Sunday. And today's Wednesday. And there's a lot to the script that you like. So the first time I watched it, I would like walk to the fridge and get a Coke and then come back to the couch. I wasn't taking extended breaks, but I was like, this isn't the movie I need to pay close attention to. On the second watching, I realized how much I missed. And I think a lot of it's because of what you mentioned earlier, that they don't feel the need to explain anything to you. It's just like, hopefully you can follow along. If not, watch it on Netflix, November 10th.
But I agree, is that they feel like, hey, we don't have the need to explain you anything, but they feel the need to actually giving you like a 15-minute monologue and ton of narration along the way. That for me doesn't add much. I wish that they actually committed to the, hey, we're going to be a movie that is 90% silence.
Yeah, I would be into that. In fact, another movie that this reminded me of is the Angelina Jolie Brad Pitt film that they filmed together right before they broke up, where they're a beautiful, glamorous Hollywood couple living in an Italian hotel, but they're miserable and they hate each other.
I don't think that I watched it.
There's not much talking. I was like, I get these like wordless kind of, it's almost like meditation, these meditative sort of films. Like I get that, but this film wasn't quite that. There was too much exposition.
But exposition of some things is that they actually like ponder. Oh, one interesting thing. You remember that we were surprised that John Wick was not based in a comic? This is based in a comic. Surprisingly. It feels less of a comic than John Wick.
Is it a good comic, do you know?
Sorry?
Is it the comic supposed to be good?
It's a French comic book. So I don't know if that gives you any information or not. But what infuriates me is probably when they were writing the script is that they ponder about like, hey, do we want to do exposition about like what are the plans that he has, what is he going to be doing, why he's traveling to every place? Or do we want to do like just very personal, quote unquote, seek development kind of comments on the voiceovers? And they went with the second one. That for me feels like this is not a movie about character development. I mean, if you're going to be like making it about character development, you better have something meaty behind, and it doesn't.
I agree. In fact, my dog didn't like it either. There was like literally one line of character development for the lawyer, which is when Michael Fassbender's going to meet him, he's like, oh, he was my professor until he talked me out of studying law and talked me into doing this. And I was like, there's some psychopath law professor that's grooming young kids to become assassins? Tell me more about that shit, man.
Well, because what you wanted was John Wick. You wanted like the insane wall of a 3% of the population is an assassin.
But slightly more believable. Like I believe there are professors that are professors because they can groom, minds that are moldable. Like that seemed like a kind of Jeffrey Epstein sort of interesting twist.
Sure.
And I wanted more. I was like, tell me more about that. But that's not wanting John Wick. Wanting character development or like a bit of history to a character is not wanting an over-the-top cartoon movie.
Well, okay, sure. It's that we don't want like Keanu Reeves like killing 100 people, but what you wanted from that, I think is like more than character development. You wanted world development.
I don't know that I can see a distinction. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's just like I want to know more about the people on the screen.
Well, let's just say if is that okay? Do you want to hear about like the professor that actually like just nurtured this guy and just knowing if there is like a network of lawyers around the world, a network of professors, or do you want to know what was the upbringing of this guy, of the lawyer, that it actually facilitated him like being molded into just being this character?
I would like to understand that clearly. So we meet a few other assassins that are not Michael Fassbender. and they're all clearly psychopaths. In fact, a spoiler alert, just stop listening if you haven't watched this. I'm not going to give everything away, but at some point, Tilda Swinton, becomes Michael Fassbender's focus. And she says something like, when I got into this, it was surprisingly easy. Like, I can't believe the things that I'm willing to do. And I find the idea that this character, the killer, is a psychopath that just needed a little bit of nudging from a trusted mentor. Like, that's the character development I want. Is that world building?
I don't know. I mean, it feels like just cheap character development. Is that I would like something a bit deeper. If they want me to give like so much voiceover and so much like, hey, I'm exposing my soul to you, I want like that soul to be more than just smoke and mirrors.
I can see that. I also, in that same vein, I found it disingenuous that Michael Fassbender is a completely insane, like true, genuine psychopath, I think. But he cares so much about his girlfriend.
Yeah, that part is a bit of a, okay, is this the dog from John Wick?
I think he was just supposed to be like just a stock character. Well, she doesn't even say much. I appreciated that. Like, don't make me watch you fall in love.
Yeah. One thing that I'm thinking about, what about if John Wick was inspired by these comics? And they changed like the elements for just like not being sure. And also and
how much I like to compartmentalize. In my brain, John Wick cannot touch the world of David Fincher. They need to stay separate. If I find out that David Fincher was inspired by John Wick...
Oh, no. No, I'm not saying that David Fincher was inspired by John Wick. I'm just saying that it's like, hey, maybe the Killer comics is that they inspired John Wick, like the director of John Wick.
If that was the case, I would buy that comic book, because if it inspired the John Wick movies and a Michael Fassbender movie, a David Fincher movie, I'd be like, there must be something here. Like, people are seeing promise in these stories. Let's find the source material.
Yeah. So you liked it?
I did. I rewatched it that second day because I enjoyed it, and I figured I did miss some things. It's a really... When I watched Gone Girl, I wasn't like, this is fun to watch. It's a good movie. I enjoyed watching it, but I wouldn't call the experience fun. I would call watching the game fun. I would call watching Fight Club. That's a fun movie, not Zodiac, but this was a very specific sort of David Fincher fun that I enjoy. I like it. I like being in that world. It was entertaining.
I enjoyed the roller coaster of Gone Girl more than I enjoyed The Killer. Of watching it,
I've come to realize that I'm a fan of revenge flicks. Like, yeah, sign me up. Let me take out all this rage I have inside towards straight people showing up to San Francisco gay bars, and let me watch what I want to do to them on screen.
That's fair. You may get like a bit of that, but the other movies that you mentioned from Fincher is that they are not revenge movies.
No, but John Wick is. And also another film that reminded me a lot of this is honestly Kill Bill. I mean,
I was going to say like Ladies No Blood.
I thought of that's another thing that can't be attached to something this low, because that's a really good film.
Okay, that's fair. So you go better questions?
Yeah, I don't know what else there's to say. I thought I liked I do like it. I thought I liked it a little bit more until this conversation. That fucking drop shadow. Are you fucking kidding me? I could have designed better credits.
Look, there are a couple of things that it almost feels like what is the name of this guy that I don't like at all, like the Nip Tuck guy, Ryan Murphy, that he did like a contract with Netflix for just doing like 3 shows or whatever, and it's like it's like, hey, they're not the best, not for him or not for anyone, but it's like he was obligated to do those. And I had the feeling that there may be a tiny bit of you're going to be like giving me all of this money for doing Mank? Is that okay? I would do one more movie for you.
But do you really think David Fincher is under some sort of contract with a studio? He's way bigger than that. Ryan Murphy produces mediocre bullshit, so Netflix like, we'll give you $500 million so you never leave us.
Okay.
It would be interesting to see who the distributor is. And I'm not very familiar with how Venice works. Like, I know there are commercial and non-commercial films in it, but I'm not sure how competitions work.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that this actually won Venice.
Well, let me Google it, because now I'm very concerned that maybe I read it was up for an award.
Well, now that I think about it, is that David Fincher has worked with Netflix a lot. Basically, House of Cards was like the first big streaming TV show.
But he only directed the first episode, right?
Yeah, but he created it. He created the concept, as far as I know.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
So yes,
and he also did Mindhunter.
Poor Things won Venice. I don't know what I read. Just ignore me. Oh no, what is this? David Fincher puzzled by 5-minute Venice standing ovation for The Killer. What? You liked it?
Okay. Netflix signs Oscar-winning director David Fincher to exclusive 4-year deal. After Mindhunter, House of Cards, and Mank, the Fight Club director will create more content for the streaming service. And this is from 2020, November 12th.
So he's still under contract. Wow.
I'm pretty sure that this was like part of the deal with Mank.
If this is a Netflix film, the quality of, let's say, the opening credits makes absolute sense. Like, we're used to things without the production value that we used to have in a $250 million, Hollywood film. That being said, everything that comes after those credits is elevated way more than most of the shit Netflix puts out. I'll say that.
On that, we agree. Is that okay? They got David Fincher. He's a great director. But when you were saying like Gone Girl is, how do you say, like a minor Fincher? For me, this is minuscule Fincher.
Interesting. Again, these are just subjective opinions, but I would put way ahead of Gone Girl. What did I give Gone Girl in the score? Because now I think there's going to be a contradiction in my score.
I just want to hear it. Let's just go over the questions. I'm curious. I already wrote down my score. Okay. Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I already watched it twice.
I don't think that I will be watching it in a year. I may watch it in the future, but I'm not going to go out of my way.
This would be a good. You would watch this on a plane. In 6 months, if you're on a plane, like, yeah, I'll watch Michael Fassbender.
Dude, if I'm in a plane, what I want is a bit more of direct entertainment for just keeping myself awake or B, falling asleep immediately. If I want direct entertainment, I will be watching John Wick. If I want to fall asleep, I will be watching Bellatar. So, dude, it's like, where does this fall? Because it's closer to Bellatar. These first 15 minutes, they're closer to Bellatar.
All right, that's fair.
Would you recommend The Killer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this would... Yes. No, I'm trying to think. I was ranking in my mind like David Fincher films. If someone came to me and said, recommend me the top 5 David Fincher films, this would be in the top 5 for me.
I'm going to go with no. I don't know what it will be on my top 5, but I don't think that this would be it.
I mean, for me, it's 7, Zodiac, The Game, Fight Club, and apparently The Killer. Okay, top 6.
Wait. Just say Panic Room. Just say that you like Panic Room.
No, what I said is you would be pleasantly surprised if you rewatched Panic Room because it's not as bad as everyone thinks. That's what I said.
And that's not saying that it's good.
I'm saying, remember how we all realized that The Beach wasn't that bad? Like 10 years after it came out?
I only watched like 10 minutes of the movie because people said that it was so bad that I avoided it.
I know it's not my pick this week, but I know what my pick is next week.
Get ready. So
another Tilda Swinton film.
Oh, that's right. Would you say that The Killer is better than The Social Network?
Oh. Yes, light years better. Mostly because there are less words by Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, okay.
No, I think The Social Network for me was inconsequential. It's not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like, I never even remember David Fincher directed The Social Network.
Okay. No, I'm checking all of the movies, and definitely I would put it probably at the bottom. Alien 3. Alien 3 would be, yeah, but that probably could be like just The Killer, Mank. Probably a bit above The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
The same quality as Mank?
Well, Mank, I had to say that at least I appreciate like the effort to try to make like
Next
a 50s
question,
movie.
Jose. I don't want to hear this.
So my answer is no. Because
Fine.
if someone asks me, it's like, hey, just tell me a movie about like a hitman, I could say John Wick.
What if in a year I'm like, Jose, can you remind me of some David Fincher films I like? Would you recommend
Fight Club?
back?
Fight Club. Could you remember The Killer?
I would say yeah. Like you said, it's a pretty simple film. There's not a ton that happens. I'll forget some of the smaller details, but I'll remember overall.
Okay. Yeah, I may. What?
That this was the plot of John Wick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I will only remember this movie because it's like, oh, this is John Wick. But there was not a dog. But there was a woman. So it's the same movie.
Less sad about the woman.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's true. Is there anything artistic about The Killer?
Yeah. I mean, there's something you said in our review of Gone Girl where you're like, or maybe I said it. Anyway, we were like, you can tell when David Fincher directed something. For me, it's like Stanley Kubrick. It just, everything is so perfectly framed and shot. I think he had great actors. All the acting was great.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say direction and acting. I wouldn't mention the script, maybe.
I agree with you. Like the casting is pretty good. We don't see like the weirdness from how do you say, from a Gone Girl. There is still a bit of a wild casting choices in there. This is like everyone is solid. I think that even, well, I mean the thing is like Fassbender is on the screen 90% of the time, or 95. You know, so from that perspective, is hard to just measure other people that they come and go, and they have like 3 scenes or 2 even. So, but no, the photography is like is really good. I like it. I felt a bit infuriated that they use Chicago as if it was New Jersey. Well, the suburbs of Chicago as if it was New Jersey.
I don't know why you're upset. No one can afford to shoot in New York, Jose.
But they were going to New Jersey, so they just decided not going there. It's like, oh, as someone else is going to be in Chicago, is that let's just go to Chicago once and shoot 2 locations there.
I'd love to know the actual reasons. I'm sure it's something interesting, like Michael Fassbender doesn't want to go to New York. He'll only go to Chicago and Boston.
Well, the thing is, I think that I told you, I have heard that David Fincher was doing a movie with Fassbender and Tilda Swinton way before it was announced what movie was it. You know?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they were shooting here.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
I think so, yeah. It was like years before, so when they announced that it's like, oh, there's a new David Fincher movie coming out, and it's like, oh, I'm pretty sure that it's like the Fassbender and Tilda Swinton, and he was there. And I already knew that it's like they were going to go to Chicago.
She's a busy girl. Isn't this Michael Fassbender's first movie after he finally stopped racing cars?
What? He was racing cars?
Yeah, he became a race car driver in Europe for like 3 years. And he had to stop filming movies because it was so dangerous what he was doing. No insurance company would insure him on a movie set. So he's just a race car driver for years.
Oh, that's
return.
Yeah, I think that you're right, because he did like a 2019 X-Men movie. Actually, from the 17th to 19th, he only did that movie. He did like the Alien Covenant movie in 2017, The Snowman. I don't know if you remember the third.
It was a horror movie?
I think so, or a thriller. He was doing like he was like the bad guy, yeah. Yes. Oh no, he was the director, sort of the detective.
Fassbender directed it?
No, he was the detective.
Oh, yeah, and that it had isn't Florence Pugh in that?
No, it had J.K. Simmons, but it had Rebecca Ferguson.
That's
yeah.
who it was.
Yeah.
Charlotte Gainsbourg, Chloe Sevigny, Toby Jones, J.K. Simmons. What the hell?
Yeah, no, the cast was pretty good, but it didn't work.
Val Kilmer? Yeah, because it was a serial killer, like in Alaska or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or in Finland. Yeah. But then he did like an X-Men movie, but I think that was like one that it took like forever between edits and the likes, and it was released in 2019. You know, so it's like maybe it was shot like almost at the same time as the others, and then this is the first movie afterwards. I'm mind blown that an actor of this caliber could choose I want to race cars instead of making.
You must have been very passionate.
I guess so, dude. Well, what a comeback! What a comeback! Let's just go back to the questions. Is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
I'll go with yes too. You know, is that John Wick has 10 years, and this is basically the same. So it has an age match.
I think you would feel exactly as you do today, 20 years ago, and in 20 years in the future. And
probably.
There's really technology. It's not trend based.
Yeah. No. It's completely Fincher style, and the technology is on the side. It's not that important. Would you turn? Well, sorry. Like the thing that it may feel a bit is already dated, and I feel like it tries to be like modern and hip. Is that when he orders from Amazon, when we see like also the overlay of the maps of Google Maps, I just feel it's like, dude, this is something that have been like 10 years ago. It would have been cool. By nowadays standard, it is the only time that you do it in the whole movie. It's weird, and the Amazon stuff, it feels even more strange.
It was just visual exposition.
Well, but the thing is that
instead of having Michael Fassbender thinking in his mind, I will go to Amazon and I'll buy a key fob duplicator.
That part felt like super silly, honestly. It felt like, dude, is this definitely, do you want to expose this? Is that this guy that always tries to never leave like some kind of trail, of paper trail, he's ordering in Amazon.
I had the same thought. I was like, there's a credit card record and an address right there to a place I assume you've rented. So
well, no, because I thought that it was in one of these lockers.
Oh,
that it got delivered
that's
in one of those lockers.
Yeah. And I guess if you use a prepaid card, you're right.
Yeah, and the credit card is like, I assume that he has like one associated with each of the personas that he uses, you know. So then it's like they're burner identities. But it just felt like such a weird thing about like, hey, you're ordering and you're like forcing that it has to be like 1 day delivery for just like progressing on this instead of going to the closest hardware store and buying one.
Could you buy? Well, yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. So I just feel like that party felt like a bit of a, you're trying to be cool, you're trying to get with the times.
It felt very Social Network to me. I think they do that sort of thing a lot, where it shows what they're typing.
Sure, but at least it's like in the Social Network I can understand it, because it's like you're talking about a tech startup, and it's like they are in front of computers all the time. So it's like, okay, sure, you know, and it's like for just the Social Network, it's like you're going to be like talking with other people online. You want to display that on the screen. In this case, I just felt like, why an hour and a half into the movie is this happening? So you change like the 15 minutes of exposition to, hey, I'm going to be like putting you a Google Map overlay on the screen.
Also, spoiler alert, why didn't he kill the billionaire?
I was debating about that. We were like talking after watching the movie. We were saying like, is this because his profile is so big that it would be easier to track it back to him?
But he had no mercy for anyone. But he's like, oh, you clearly are innocent in this.
Yep.
Unlike the taxi driver that just drove people around.
Yep. That part was pretty shitty, but it was, the Dominican Republic. No one was going to be missing.
Yeah, it's the daily aggressor.
Yeah, but it's similar to the opening scene that he kills or he shoots that woman. We don't know if she died or not, but he shoots that woman, and then he's like, "Oh fuck!" And then suddenly you have like 100 police cars that they were like just waiting in 5 blocks around for just like going crazy there. That is like, okay, that's very opportunistic. I guess that's how things operate in Paris, But you can kill, as you say, you can kill like that taxi driver and no one cares. It's like you can just like walk around. Like, I'm out. Bye. I will leave the corpse there. So from my perspective, is it a timeless piece? I'm going to say that is like this is as stupid 10 years ago as it will be 10 years on the future. And some of the choices, how they use technology, is pretty out of place. It almost felt like, did Google sponsor this movie or was it Amazon?
I think it was WeWork.
WeWork.
You're forced to read a WeWork sign. I was like, come on. What the fuck?
I actually am going to be like changing my answer, and I'm going to go with no because of the effort of trying to make it like grounded into right now. Because not even the social network is like as grounded at a point. And there's a biography about like the creation of a social network. But next question: could you turn it into a TV show?
No. Even though I said I wanted more character building or world building, whatever, this works for me as a more meditative piece where we're not going to learn anything. Like, I'm good with that. And if they stretch this out into like 6 hours, it would just be full of shit I didn't want to know. So no, I would not.
I agree. Yeah, I don't want more development or anything.
How long was it? Was it like an hour 45-ish?
I think that is close to 2. Let me just.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Do they have the runtime on IMDb? 1 hour and 58.
158. Okay.
Yeah. Could this have been a short?
My answer is no. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours, but I think you did need to go on this somewhat slow journey to get. Like I said, I think I watched exactly what David Fincher wants me to, so I wouldn't change it.
I will go with yes.
It could be less than an hour.
I think so. If you just remove the first 15 minutes, you already have like a good chunk out.
I can't deny that.
Yeah, and if you remove like the what were they going? Did they go to a titty bar? Or he was going to chasing the other guy? Was he? Where was that? That was in the south.
Oh, I thought of a way it could have been better. There's a beautifully choreographed fight scene between Michael Fassbender in the house of a Floridian thug.
Florida.
It was huge and strong, and it was a great fight sequence, even though it was mostly in dark. But how did they have an assassin in Florida and not incorporate crocodiles? Which one are in Florida?
Both. Let's just leave both. I don't know.
We don't leave it. You could have thrown anyone to the crocodiles.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I love like the dog. I love the dog that is like, hey, you go like out of your way for not killing a dog. And it's like basically you're like presenting the dog as a bigger danger than actually the guy.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he could have easily just overdosed the dog.
Yeah.
But he measured carefully.
He's so a respect for that dog and he didn't show for any other human being that he interacted with.
He's so inconsistent, the killer. He's so inconsistent.
He's pretty inconsistent. So for me, yeah, this could have been a short. Honestly, there would have been like just many parts that I would be like just scrapping out. If I were on the purpose of I want to make this like as small as possible. Do you think this movie could have been better? So you stick with the yes because of the lack of crocodiles?
Get rid of that drop shadow, first off. Are you kidding me?
You have more money than this.
The crocodile needs to be added. Yeah, I mean, based on this conversation, there are a lot of things that I found it's lacking in. I'm not going to relist them, but yes, this could have been better in a number of areas.
The same for me, especially like the script. I think that the script is like just tone it down. You know, you're not going to be like giving me character development. You are not making me care about these characters with this exposition. But yeah, should we score it?
Let's do it. This was my pick, so you have to go first, and I'll adjust accordingly.
Don't do that. My score is 6.5.
Mine is 7.5. I still think this is a good film. In fact, it's compared to what's usually in theaters, it's a great film.
I think that
compared
maybe
to like if you were to go to AMC right now, no matter what's there may be one film better, but this is better than most things.
Okay. Challenge accepted. Let me just bring it up. Let's see like what AMC artisan films do we have there. We have right now Trolls, a new Trolls movie. We have a new The Hunger Games movie.
There's a new one?
A new Hunger Games? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have Thanksgiving. The Ellie Road. We have a Disney movie called The Wiz that I didn't hear anything about. Or Wiz, sorry. There is a new Marvel movie called The Marvels. There is the Joaquin Phoenix Napoleon movie.
I rest my case. This movie is better than all of those.
Yeah, I can keep going. There is The Holdovers. I don't know if you're curious to watch that.
Which one?
The Holdovers, the Alexander Payne new movie.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, the trailer. They played the trailer the other day. Yeah.
What is Killers of the Flower Moon?
Oh, that's the Scorsese movie. That is also on Apple TV, I think, and it's 3 hours and something. That's the reason why I didn't bring it up, because I don't want to watch a 3-hour movie.
No, I stopped. I didn't even watch his last one. I was like, you're asking too much, Scorsese. You're asking too much.
The Irishman was the
I didn't watch it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was like the one with the special effects about like just trying to pretend that Al Pacino was 40. Well, he almost needs a walker. Okay, so 7.5. You gave an 8 to Gone Girl.
I should readjust Gone Girl.
And the thing that pisses me off a bit is that I gave to Mank a 6, and I gave this a 6.5.
See, I would have to rewatch Mank, but I think this is light years better than Mank.
I think that Mank doesn't feel like a Fincher movie.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like a Gary Oldman film.
Fair. That's fair. He's there. Come on. So, anything else to say about The Killer?
Thanks for ruining this for me.
Dude, I'm sorry. I think that you were looking like with your Fincher tinted glasses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was so easy to watch and I was so entertained that I mistook that for being quality.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. Also have to say that I gave the same score to John Wick. 6.5.
This is why like critics in respectable publications, they don't like use a rating system because they're never consistent. Like just talk it out in words and don't like force yourself to write in stone how you feel about it.
Sure, that's fair. But we're also talking about it, you know. It's more like I just feel like it's hilarious to just like go back, because for me this is consistent. It's like I think that John Wick like sacrifices whatever kind of substance for entertainment, and this movie tries to have substance and sacrifice entertainment along the way.
Well, regardless, our scores are not that far apart from each other. I don't think we had two different experiences. It wasn't like Brazil.
I'm not going to entertain this. I'm not going to be opening this Pandora's box, okay? So for next time, as this was your pick, we're going to be like watching a movie that you actually suggested. Albert is my pick. You suggested this one, and I always felt like surprised that you brought a musical to the table. So we're going to be watching the Liza Minnelli Cabaret.
Looking forward to it. Liza and all.
Did you watch Arrested Development?
Not the original seasons, not the reboot, no.
No, the ones that I did for Netflix, they are not good. But it's like I always found hilarious, like Liza Minnelli character.
What Lucille?
Lucille too.
And her vertigo.
Anything else?
No, nothing about the killer. Just it's a a fun film. It's fun. It is fun.
I guess, you don't have anything else to watch. There are like way worse new movies to watch.
I'll take it. That's the best I'm gonna get out of it.
Okay. This time, yeah, it's the best. Okay, and to everyone else out there, thank you so much for putting up with us.
Get your booster shots.
And then don't wash your hands anymore.
No, doesn't matter.
Okay, bye.